What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to break down how you calculate and maximize your sexual market value. If you're not familiar with this term, it basically stands for how attractive you are to the opposite sex. Now, fair warning, this topic is a bit controversial. Unfortunately, the truth can be harsh and even unfair at times, but I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this. I'm just going to lay it out for you guys the way it is. So if you're an SJW who gets triggered easily, then you probably want to exit out of this video. But if you're ready for the red pill, then enjoy. Alright, so let's start off by going over how you can calculate your current sexual market value. I put together a nice little table for you guys, broken up into 6 categories. Basically what you do is you go through each one and kind of pick what group you're in, add up all the points, and that will give you a ballpark, more or less, of what your sexual market value is at this very moment. Now, just because your current SMV is this, doesn't mean it has to be the same thing for the rest of your life. A big theme you're going to notice throughout this video is I do believe that sexual market value is largely within your control if you're willing to take enough right action, at least within reason. So for example, a 2 is never going to become a 10, but he can become a 5 can become an 8, an 8 can become a 9.5, that sort of thing. These are also color-coded based on how much control you have over them. So for example, race you have no control over, and something like your body you have a lot of control over, and there's some things that are in the middle. And this will become more self-explanatory as we go through each one. So let's start off by going through, taking a look at the first one, which is race. So with this, there's 2 schools of thought that I see online in the pickup community. First is that it's 2020, man, people are colorblind, race makes no difference. And unfortunately, that's just not the world we're living in. At the end of the spectrum, you have, ooh, yeah, race is huge. If you're this ethnicity, then you're pretty much fucked. You might as well settle for an arranged marriage. That's the best you're going to do. And that's also definitely not true. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. I would be lying to you guys if I said that, race plays no role in your dating success. It does play a role. Women and just people in general have a subconscious, bias in their sexual preferences. That being said, it's not nearly as important as a lot of people make it out to be. You have no control over, what race you are and any of that shit, so why even think about it? It is what it is. This is what it is, but you can be successful. It doesn't matter what fucking ethnicity you are. I've seen guys who are Asian, Indian, who crush it with women. In fact, my business partner, Indian PE, is also, fucking Indian if you haven't figured out by the name. So you can fall into any category and still be successful. But you have to focus on the things that you actually have control over. After that, we got height. This is also going to play a difference. This is something that you don't have that much control over just because you were kind of born the height that you are. Blame your parents or thank your parents. And yes, it's going to be a lot easier for taller guys than it is for shorter guys. But it's not as completely, I would say, out of your control as race is for several reasons. First off, if you're on the shorter side, you can get elevator shoes. I personally don't use them just because I'm like 5'11", 6 feet. But if I was 5'7", 5'8", I would definitely be wearing them to add an extra 2 inches, to my perceived height. The second thing you can do is when taking pictures, you want to be posing, next to people who are shorter than you or the same height as you. I think a mistake that a lot of short guys make is they take pictures with these tall ass motherfuckers, which will make them look even shorter by comparison. So this is kind of what girls, chubby girls do with angles. You're doing the same thing with your height. I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you're not straight up lying. Then we got your face. So this is also one that you have some level of control over, but not a lot. Yes, you have our genetics that we're born with, but, there's a lot of things you can do as well. Like get to single digits body fat. That will make all your facial features look a lot sharper. Eating a clean diet so that you have clean skin. And if you have any pores or acne or something is off, you use products. And then having a nice tan that, also will make your features pop a lot more. So if you do all 4 of these things, you can improve your face by a noticeable amount. It's very rare that you see a fat guy who has a handsome face. Almost never happens. And again, getting to a single digits body fat is going to be huge when it comes to, how good your facial features look. Then we got your body. This one you have a large amount of degree of control over. Yes, some people have better genetics than others. For some people, it's a lot easier to get jacked than it is for others. I actually fall into the category. It's really hard for me to put on weight and muscle because I just have extremely ectomorphic genetics. But again, you don't want to use that as an excuse. You have the cards that you were dealt with. Now, what are you going to do about it is the question. So with enough effort, persistence, I think anyone can get to the point where they look pretty fucking ripped, if they're just doing enough time passes and taking enough right action. Then we got your tribe. So this one, needs a little bit of an explanation. Your tribe is basically if a girl looks at you, maybe talks to you for 30 seconds, what category does she think you fall into? Would she describe you as a, starving artist, a drug addict, a druggie, whatever, or a, successful businessman? Like, what kind of group does it look like you fall into? So this is kind of like a culmination of all the other categories and also a little bit about how you carry yourself. So first we got exciting professional. So this would be something like, like a Christian Grey type of person. You own a successful business. You have a lot of flexibility with your life. Maybe you're a doctor or a pilot, some cool job that girls get excited about that seems high value and allows you to live a cool lifestyle. Then after that, we got bad boy. So this would be like kind of like Hank Moody in Californication. You basically, you drive a motorcycle. You're just kind of like an all-around badass. After that, we got creative musician. So this would be something like, you're a producer or you play in a band or something like that. Now, if your band is very successful and you're famous, then that automatically bumps you up to exciting professional. But if you're a creative, artist that no one really knows about, then you fall into this category. Then we got your average guy. So this is essentially if a girl looks at you, talks to you and thinks, yeah, he's just your average guy. Then you fall into this category. And then we got nerd, goth, and creep. So this is when your tribe is actively working against you. If a girl looks at you and thinks you just play World of Warcraft all day, have no friends, or you look kind of creepy and look like you're about to commit a mass shooting, then you fall into this category. After that, we got your fashion. So this is the category I could personally use the most amount of work in. I would probably put myself in the average category, maybe stylish and trendy on my good days. And on my bad days, I probably am kind of like a slob. So, you don't want to dress ghetto. You don't want to wear like weird outfits that were cool in the 90s, but no one gives a shit about anymore. You kind of want to stay up to date with the latest fashion. And this is one that you have a lot of control over. It's pretty easy to fix. If you have no fashion sense, then go out with an attractive girl, someone who has good taste, or your gay best friend, and fucking have them, pick out outfits for you. And there's a lot of YouTubers that also have good information on this. Also in the product, we actually have a bonus chapter that was written by a style consultant, all about fashion. So you can check that out as well if you're a member of the mastermind. So as a little example, let's calculate my personal current sexual market value. So race, I'm white, that's 2 points. Then we got height, somewhere between 5'11" and 6 feet, that's another point, so that's 3. Face, obviously I'm model looking, that part is a no-brainer. I'm just kidding. I fall in the handsome category, so that would be another point, that's 4. Then body, as much as I would love to be in the same category as Daniel Craig, I'm definitely not there yet. Lean but lacks muscle describes me the best. That's another point there, so we got 5. Tribe, honestly, I oscillate somewhere between bad boy and average guy, so I'll give myself a point there. And then fashion, when I actually put in the work, like when I'm going on a date, I'm probably somewhere in stylish, trendy category, so that's 7. Which kind of makes sense because I definitely would consider myself a little bit above average, but I'm definitely not a full-on fucking Chad. Now, the interesting thing about this, though, as you kind of go through each category, you can see, where I have room for growth. So, for example, I'm never going to take my face from handsome to mild looking. That's just not going to happen. But with enough effort, if I keep going to the gym, getting those sweet, sweet gains with enough time, I definitely put myself in the muscular and lean category. That's another 2 points. As I keep building my YouTube channel, keep building my brand, keep getting more influence, definitely potential for me to go from this bad boy, average guy, weird combination to exciting professional, kind of like Dan Bilzerian does, or like some of the top-notch YouTubers. So that's another point on the table. And fashion, if I put in the effort and spend more money, I could definitely improve my fashion. That's another half point. So right now I'm a 7, but with the potential, if I put in enough time, work, and energy, to become somewhere in the 9-ish category. All right, so before we get into my big recommendations, I do want to touch on a few things. So first off, sexual market value is not more or less important than game. There are 2 different categories, and both of which are essential. So for example, you got a guy who has awesome sexual market value, but no game. Yeah, he's gonna initially meet a lot of girls, but he's gonna blow most of them out. It's gonna go nowhere. If you got a guy with awesome fucking game, but low sexual market value, he's gonna have a really, really fucking hard time getting his foot in the door. So again, both are really necessary for you to be successful with women. You don't wanna just focus on maximizing one or the other. I think this is a big mistake I see. The pickup community just focuses on game, and then you got, the manosphere community, which just focuses on sexual market value. In reality, they're both important. The second thing is that there's one big amplifier that I haven't mentioned yet, and that's status and fame. So for example, take Jonah Hill, according to this calculation, he would be like a 2, right? You put me and him in a room, like if he wasn't famous, I would fucking, do way better. But given his status and fame, he'll probably fucking get way more girls than I would, simply because, of that big amplifier. So status and fame can really fucking just skyrocket your sexual market value, can make a drastic difference From everything I've heard, it's a million fucking times easier if you're famous or you have a high status in a particular environment. And the third thing I want to touch on is that this is all very subjective. So what that means is that, your particular sexual market value is going to fluctuate based on, one, the demographics of the girl that you're talking to. So for example, a woman who's 18, 19 will place a lot more, importance on, something like looks and body, versus a girl who's in her 30s or 40s will place more importance, on your tribe, something like that, and your fashion. So again, these things will vary based on demographics. They will vary based on what area you live in. So for example, in Japan or Asia, facial hair could actually work against you, while in the US, especially in the Midwest, where they got the whole lumberjack obsession, facial hair is going to work for you. So again, this is also very subjective based on what area you're in, and also just based on the particular girl that you're talking to. Some girls could be all about black guys, some girls could not be into black guys at all, and some girls just could not care at all about ethnicity. So what we're doing here is we're just looking very roughly at average. Again, this is going to fluctuate based on where you are, which girl you're going for, and on the situation. This is just overall rough ballpark. So anyone who's familiar with this channel knows I'm all about taking massive action and improving your success in life. So that's why I wanted to wrap up this video by giving you guys some short-term and long-term recommendations on what you can do to improve your sexual market value. So short-term, we got a few things. First off, going to a quality barbershop and having them do your beard and your haircut. I've gone to, fucking Supercuts, and I've gone to quality barbershops. I can tell you for sure there's a large difference when you have someone who knows what the fuck they're doing and actually spend some time on, trimming you up. You're gonna look noticeably better. So you can tell it's been like almost 2 weeks since I last went. I could definitely use a trim up, and that stuff is gonna play a noticeable difference. It's not gonna take you from a 5 to a 10, but it can give you an extra point, just having a very sharp haircut and a sharp beard. The second thing is gonna be getting a tan if you're extremely pale. So a lot of guys are walking around and they look like they've never seen the light of day. So again, getting a tan can also make you look more muscular, make your facial features pop more, as long as you don't fucking overdo it and go Jersey Shore style, just completely look like a tomato. As long as you're not doing that, a tan can definitely help. And last thing is getting your fashion in order. This can also be done pretty quickly, in a weekend. If you don't know shit about fashion, check out some YouTubers. Also, if you're part of the Playing with Fire Mastermind group, we got several guys in there who are very well versed in fashion, so you can just post current pictures of where you're at and get some feedback. But in general, let no one be able to say that you're a slob or that you look like a dork or that you just have no idea how to dress. So get your fashion in order, and with these 3 things you can definitely get some very quick short-term improvements with your sexual market value. Next, let's take a look at the long-term categories. So these are areas where you're not going to be able to really do much overnight, but with enough time and energy you're going to be able to make significant progress and get a big bang for your buck outside of just getting laid. So first up, we got your diet, and that's going to fall somewhere between short-term and long-term, but diet is essential, to getting to a lower percentage body fat, having your skin look better, your face look better, and also just overall feeling better, moving better, and just being more attractive to women at a primal level. A girl can tell the difference between a guy who's healthy and fertile or 2 Cheetos away from a heart attack. Secondly, it's also essential to follow a good diet if you want to get jacked. And that is going to be the second thing. It's very rare that I see a guy who's in top physical shape complaining about how hard it is to meet girls. That almost never happens, because first off, it's a lot easier to meet girls if you're jacked. Women are just going to be more attracted to you, on a primal level. You're going to get a lot more indicators of interest. You're going to get a lot less LMR. So there's a whole host of benefits there. But also, if you have the discipline to grind it out of the gym day in and day out, not let setbacks get you down, track your calories, track your lifts, and ultimately achieve top physique, then you're going to have the discipline to also get good at game. There's a lot of overlap in these 2 categories. And thirdly, you want to make sure you build up your own personal brand. I could do a whole video on this, but basically whatever it is that you're passionate about, make sure that you achieve success in that field. So for example, if you're passionate about your business, then make sure your business is financially successful. Make sure your brand is well known and well respected. Make sure that your business is actually successful and offers you financial freedom and a cool lifestyle. If you're passionate about music, then make sure that people have actually heard your music. You want to achieve some recognition for whatever it is that you're pursuing, and kind of level up in that field repeatedly. So again, this stuff is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, but eventually, with enough time and right action, you can level up in whatever it is that you're pursuing and ultimately achieve some level of status and recognition. And that's sexual market value 101. Of course, there's more to it than that. We have a giant fucking chapter dedicated just to SMV and the online dating blueprint, but this should give you a nice starting point. Also, make sure that you increase your sexual market value right now by smashing the subscribe button. Becoming one of the Playing with Fire subscribers is definitely going to do wonders for your SMV. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. And until next time.